The jokes are on Blackrock now. Today the market is gradually recovering. Finally, the Shiba Inu's bleeding stopped. In general, the market for digital currencies is going absolutely bonkers. Out of nowhere, BlackRock bought millions. There has been a loss of signals for analysts. Shiba Inus could finally thrive to new heights. Still, will that be enough? I will now explain. Your daily dose of Shiba wealthy coins is here. For all your Shiba-related questions, this is the place to be. Stay ahead of the curve in the cryptocurrency business, and get the scoop on all the newest news predictions by subscribing. Hit that like button if you want to see more Shiba news stories. The Shiba Inu community is celebrating a special day. The cost has finally leveled out and is actually going up after what felt like an endless battle. Even while it's not a great leap, it's still noteworthy considering how rough the last few days have been. The story had turned around, but the Shiba Inu kept tumbling. Despite making some progress, the price remained stable. As a result, investors can breathe a bit easier. Soon, self-assurance will return. All signs point to a solid outcome currently. No longer are people frightened to act. Based on last week's chart, Shiba Inu is finally leveling out, which is great news for the community. It shows that the storm may be abating, and that's a fantastic situation for investors. But this is when things start to get interesting. Amazingly, one analyst brought attention to something that the average person would have missed at first glance. According to new data from Into the Block, the massive whales who own a lot of Shiba Inu had a big decrease in both inflows and outflows during the last day. A staggering 80% drop in overall mobility is what we're talking about. At first glance, that looks concerning. Yet upon closer inspection, the story turns out to be quite encouraging. Although there was a marked decrease in activity, the net flow, the actual disparity between the number of Shiba Inus coming in and going out, turned out to be positive. Just one day prior, outflows were significantly higher, suggesting that whales were bringing in more Shiba Inu than they were exporting. However, the gap has now shrunk considerably. Even though there has been less movement overall, the focus has shifted from sales to build-up, which is a big deal. What this means is that the big companies, the ones who have actual market influence, are not dumping. Despite the low prices, they are discreetly increasing the number of Shiba Inu, which is a typical sign of confidence. When whales start to accumulate instead of sell up their holdings, they often anticipate a dramatic increase in their wealth. Nobody is experiencing a panic attack. They are preparing for what could be their next great run. But please, listen up, even though what I'm about to say sounds crazy. Additionally, BlackRock had a major event today. There is substance to this news. One of the signs that Shiba Inus might be encouraged to pump constantly is this: passion for details. Later on we will address this. Let's talk about the big update from the Shiba Inu development team first though, because it might completely change the game. They have now launched the Karma system on the Shibarium test network, PuppyNet, which is precisely what the community needs. Karma is a system of rewards in the Shiba Inu ecosystem that keeps track of your actions and gives you points for them. Metaverse land buying, burning tokens, staking, improving liquidity, and more. Earn more as you engage more. The reason this matters though, is as follows. Demand rose, leading to the burning, staking and locking down of Shiba Inus. More people were involved, which in turn reduced supply. Additionally, if demand is strong and supply is low, prices might go higher. Things might change drastically once Karma activates the main Shibarium network, while it isn't currently testing. A rally is triggered by an increase in activity, burning and demand, as we have learned from previous experiences. Concerning what comes next, BlackRock just threw a huge wrench into the mix. They recently spent millions of dollars on Bitcoin. The deterioration is being purchased by them. As investors wait for the market to recover, the world's biggest asset manager is busy constructing. When crypto behemoths like BlackRock start piling on, you already know what that means. The big bucks are noticing something coming. They are not acting haphazardly, but rather with purpose. To be ready, they wait for the market to gain momentum. It gets interesting from here on out. Shiba Inu whales have also been quietly increasing in number recently. Lower mobility, with more incoming funds than going out, they appear to be following a similar strategy, making the most of the low rates while they can. Furthermore, we can learn from past mistakes and anticipate whale concentrations after large migrations. Cryptocurrencies are being explored by Blackrock. There is a growing pod of Shiba Inu whales. Things are coming together. We might be in for something quite big with Shiba Inu prices, if supply keep going down, and demand keeps going up. Plus, one Twitter expert has recently revealed something quite significant. With a wallet worth about $11 million, one whale went ahead and bought Ethereum. The massive purchase is consistent with the bigger trend of whales rapidly accumulating Ethereum. Yeah, that's Ethereum. You might be thinking right now, what does this have to do with Shiba Inus? In most cases, a dramatic increase in market activity is signaled when whales load Ethereum in this way. Additionally, digital currencies like Shiba Inu are typically impacted when large-scale investors enter the cryptocurrency market. Something tells us about Shiba Inus from that. The addition of more major companies to the market can potentially increase liquidity, which could lead to a surge in demand for Shiba Inus. While they continue to accumulate Ethereum, whales are also looking for new opportunities, especially if they perceive potential profits in projects like Shiba Inu. Thus, connecting the dots, it appears that Shiba Inu may be in for some very substantial upward momentum. Crypto is heating up, and Ethereum whales are purchasing heavily. To top it all off, this may prove everything. The Shiba Inu team's official stance on anything. A big statement has been made by Lucy, the head of legal marketing for Shiba Inus. On X, she declared that the heyday of Shibarium has arrived. Seems powerful, doesn't it? But it's not without real weight. The message was clear in her post from Shibarium Updates, which was made on a team-affiliated account. A watershed moment has arrived for Shibarium. The signals from Lucy grow increasingly forceful. Keep from being disoriented. Also, she isn't saying this aimlessly. The Shibarium crew drew parallels between this and other watershed events in history, such as the Gilded Age, when society underwent rapid transformation. Shibarium is currently in that exact state. It has progressed beyond being a simple experiment and is now producing tangible value and infrastructure. Therefore, think about it. Bitcoin stocks are rising at Blackrock. There is a meeting of Shiba Inu whales. Major events are imminent. According to today's Shiba Inu crew, the natural world is growing. As the base gets stronger, the price usually follows suit. Here we may witness the moment when Shiba Inu goes from being a potential to an undeniable success. Additionally, here is some fuel for thought. Despite the rapid decline in Shiba Inu prices, one expert has pointed out a good aspect. Changes in the ecology may hold the key to a full recovery, so there's hope if you're still worried about the breed's future. Shiba Inu's present investor support is the center of attention. The Shiba Inu is now in a stage where it requires a combination of things. It might be the story-turning update it needs, along with the karma system and Shibarium's golden age. But here's where things start to get interesting. No matter the price drop, the burn measure for Shiba Inus has increased by more than 12,000% in the past 2 days alone. Given that the ecosystem is active